You all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Antoinette, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. So the first item on tonight's agenda is a recognition of service award.
I heard that.
So, Mr. Montesano, would you please join me down here?
Go get him, Mike.
For those of you who do not know Mike, well, let me start off by saying I've been with this town since 1988 in various functions. Mike was here long before me. Mike was on the planning board when I started on the ECC. He was a mentor. He was an incredible resource of information and knowledge when I first joined the planning board. His guidance has been invaluable. He has served this town for over 33 years in various capacities. He has served on the planning board for most of that. He has served as chairman for the planning board for many, many years. He has been with the FOP, the fire department, just to name a few. Republican committee. He's been a stalwart on the Republican committee, which we recognize him for. Yeah. So and unfortunately, Mr. Montesano decided he was going to retire this year. It's been a tremendous loss to our planning board having that kind of history and background. So we did want to recognize you, and we did so not with some cheap piece of paper, but we actually had a plaque made up recognizing Michael Montesano's 33 years with the town of Patterson. So, Michael.
Okay. It's always been a privilege to work, especially in your own community. I've had the pleasure of working with quite a few people that have moved from different positions in the town to more authority, and it has always been a pleasure. And I must say that I'm very happy to say that the planning board at the present time seems to have more qualified people than I could ever remember. And I thank you very much for the honor and the privilege.
So next on tonight's agenda is a public hearing on a public assembly permit. Don Rossi, if you could please read the notice. Sure.
Please take notice that by motion of the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, adopted at a meeting of said board on August 14th, 2019, a public hearing will be held by the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York at Town Hall, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on August 28, 2019 at 7 p.m. o'clock, or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard, to consider the application of Blackstone USA DBA The Victory Cup, submitted pursuant to Chapter 51 of the Town Code, for a public assembly permit to host the Victory Cup, which includes a polo match and tethered hot air balloon exhibition at the premises located at 683 Route 311, Patterson, New York, 12563, on Friday, August 30th, 2019, and Saturday, August 31st, 2019. At said public hearing, all persons interested in the subject matter thereof shall have the opportunity to be heard. A full and complete copy of the aforesaid application is on file with the town clerk and available for review. The town board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk. Dated August 16th, 2019, by order of the town board of the town of Patterson, Antoinette Kopek, town clerk.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
If you could give your name for the
Yes,
record,
Joe Bachmeyer from the Victory Cup.
and if you'd like to tell everybody about your event that's
Sure.
coming up.
Yeah, sure. This Friday and Saturday, will be at right down the road, Mr. Capasso's farm there. 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. we'll have 2 tethered balloons doing tethered rides. And then Saturday we'll have balloons as well. We'll have 2 tethered balloons as well as a full polo match going on out there. VictoryCup.org is our website with all the information. Pretty easy.
Thank you. I would ask that anybody that has any comments or questions on this application, if you would approach the mic and give your name for the record. Anyone at all?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Would somebody like to audit some bills?
I will audit the bills. I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 15 dated August 16th, 2019 in the amount of $148,833.85. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Budget transfers?
I will make a motion that the town board approve the budget transfer of $1,503 from the recreation program sports expense account to the camps expense account. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman D'Andriano, you're up at bat.
All right, first on my agenda is a reimbursement request regarding the Durkin. I have a memo here from Bob McCarthy, our code enforcement, Director of Code Enforcement. I'm requesting that Durkin Propane be reimbursed for overpayment of a gas permit that was issued on July 2019. The gas permit was issued July 22nd, 2019. Building permit was issued on July 31st, 2019. Because Durkin Propane's permit was issued before the building permit for the renovation work, they were charged the full price of $175. If the gas permit was issued after the building permit was issued, they would have been charged $75 instead of the $175. The gas permit is directly associated with the building permit, where the fuel gas is an accessory part of the renovation work being conducted. I'm recommending that Durkin Propane be reimbursed $100 for overpayment. So I'd like to make a motion to reimburse Durkin Propane the overpayment of $100 as per request of our Director of Code Enforcement. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next I have EMS hires. So we have 2 individuals here that we actually interviewed months ago, and they were excellent candidates. They just didn't have enough time as EMTs. They just didn't have enough experience. So they both agreed. They both wanted to sign up for our volunteer program, where they rode on the ambulance and they rode with seasoned, qualified EMTs and got some experience and learned a lot. And more importantly, we got to know who they were and we got to know their skills. So they have been excellent in their time of volunteering. So our Denise Montana, our EMS supervisor, has requested to hire them. So I'd like to make a motion to hire Miss Nicole Rubin and Mr. Jeffrey Priscilla as EMTs at the hourly rate of $15 per hour. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, third, I have the Victory Cup permit. So we heard the public meeting on it. So I do have a resolution here to issue the permit. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the resolution and put it in the
Rich.
records as written.
Yeah, just one comment on
Sure.
it. The resolution doesn't use the word tethered before the ballooning event, and I think that should be added to it.
I agree, that's
And I
important.
think based on the last meeting, they said tethered, the balloons go up no more than like 15 feet or something.
what they said.
Really low.
Yeah, I
So
think they were
it's-
saying they weren't even going up.
Yeah.
They were just,
No, I think, my understanding is they will go up to a point of the end of the tethering
Yes.
rope, and so I think.
It's a short tether, it's
And
a
I
short
think,
leash.
I think just in adding the word in the resolution, consistent with the public hearing and what they've told us. We don't have to go into great details on it, but they will be tethered, and I think it's important.
Yeah.
so I'd like to make a motion to accept the resolution with the addition of the verbiage tethering the balloons. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that is all I have.
Next, we have what is infamously called the Boardwalk Project. This is a project down at the end of Front Street there, going into the park area. Have a lot of people involved in it, county, town, various volunteer groups. So what we're going to do tonight is to name Sean Rogan as the project manager and authorize Sean to act on behalf of the town board in implementing this project. So I will make a motion that we approve all that. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excited about this project.
I know you
Great.
are.
I'm really looking forward to
Excited to help you with
working
it.
with some great volunteer groups in the town and bring this to
Now,
fruition.
you have a long leash.
Awesome.
I'm excited to use it.
Yeah.
Next, court clerk training. We've had a request to send justice court clerks to training in Syracuse. There was a few memos that went back and forth between the town supervisor and the justices, asking for approval or actually additional information concerning why we would be spending over $2,000 to send court clerks to this training session when it's this basically similar training online, and there's also town organization in February holds training. So we have not heard back from anyone over in the courts relative to this request. So, having said that, unless somebody wants to object or do anything else, again, we were told that they would review the options and get back to us, which they have not. So I'm going to make a motion that the town board not approve the request for training of the court clerks in East Syracuse, New York. So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Sean?
Okay, similar to the request that was discussed by Councilman DeAndriano, we also have a request for a reimbursement of fees. This, in short, is a request because it was for a solar project that is not going to occur. So our code enforcement director has requested that we consider reimbursing all the fees except the non-refundable application fee, which is a $75 fee. So the refunded amount would be $283, and this is for Stephen Kirkman for a project that in essence is not moving forward. So I'll move that we refund those fees of $283 to Mr. Kirkman. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next item, the town has been in conversation for a long time about this change to our workforce, and we are happy to say that we have successfully negotiated with our very own Donna DePippo, who has worked in our town assessor's office for a very long time, to assume the role of town assessor. We have a resolution which would appoint Ms. DePippo for a 6-year term, and so I would like to enter this resolution into the record as though read and make the motion to approve. So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye. And lastly, we had a situation that we discussed last meeting. It actually led to the town looking at our policy for the use of the Veterans Memorial Park when it relates to the alcohol use policy, because alcohol previously was only permitted with some insurance requirements, and we looked to strengthen the language. And this came out in part due to an incident that occurred back in July at the park where we had a private party and we had some unfortunate situations that occurred that may have been related to some alcohol use, but in essence was not a very good situation. It involved some of our employees who weren't treated rather nicely, and suffice it to say that we sent a letter to the applicant who used the park, the permittee, and asked for some clarification of the incident, and we never got anything in response. So Based on this incident, I'm inclined to say that, and this person rents the park every year for a family function. Based on the incident and the lack of supporting information for us to be able to really delve further into this, I'm inclined to say that we should formally decline future applications for use of the park from this particular person. And especially since we got no response to a request for some kind of information that we could then, what we have is what our own employees documented to us. So without naming the person, because I don't think that's necessary, I'd like to make a motion that we not approve future permits from this person or their immediate family for use of the park, Veterans Memorial Park. So moved.
Second with discussion. Do you feel that we need to ban this individual from the park if they were to attend other parties?
I don't-
Or is it just enough to?
Here's the problem. He's a member of the park district. He pays his taxes into a park district. I don't know that we can ban him from the park, but we certainly can limit his use of something that we do that's special over and above the use of the park, which is renting the pavilion.
Yeah.
So, Don, you want to weigh in?
No, I think that's right. I think that the permit to use the pavilion is a privilege that the town grants. If certain requirements are met, I think you have the right to withhold that privilege. But I do agree, gut reaction was it would be a little bit more than necessary to go that extra step, and to eliminate all use of the park, I think would be a bigger step and more difficult to justify.
Good.
So can I just add, maybe you want to, is this the permit number? You might want to reference the permit
Sure.
number, since we're not naming the
So
applicant.
let's amend the motion.
It's also
Well,
going to
before-
public record, so I don't think
You don't want that? Okay.
someone would be entitled to have a copy of it.
Wouldn't that be, the personal information would be redacted out anyway, wouldn't it, if it was through a FOIL?
No, it would not.
I don't think so, that would be.
Okay.
We're restricted on what we can actually redact out.
I mean,
So before you amend anything,
No.
I agree with what you're saying, but I would limit it to 1 year.
Or,
Well, the-
better yet, rather than, and I'm sorry, this
Yeah.
is just a discussion, maybe you just want to allow, but not permit alcohol in the future at the function.
We didn't permit it at the last one.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe we want to say a minimum of 1 or 2 years without some kind of a written response to your request. We got no response from that. And I think that, would have weighed in heavily into our,
Yeah.
because there's always two sides to a story, but ignoring just simply, hey, we want to get your version. I didn't think that was onerous to ask for, this incident occurred. As a result of this, our employees in the future that work at the park will get a little extra training on when to notify police, because they tend to try to, everybody wants to do a good job and they don't want to take that step of calling the police. But in this case, I think it would have been appropriate.
But
because it
there's
was
also no
that
guarantee
disrespectful.
that he received the letter, because we didn't send it certified, or
No, we
did
did
it,
not.
was it an email or no?
All right.
So I certainly could send a letter out suspending his privileges for 1 year, and letting him know that, we will reconsider the matter if he decides to respond.
Sure. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, because we're not, we want to be able to get the information, but I think that's great. So amend my motion to include that, and we're so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, where are we? Veterans Memorial Park. This is a project, we're finally getting close to putting a shovel in the ground. Veterans Memorial Park has had some issues with the drainage coming in off at North Street. North Street ponds up terribly, and all the sediment from the road maintenance ends up down in the pond, coming through that drainage. It's plugging up the manhole that we have in the center of the field. I've worked with the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation to design a project that will actually treat the storm water, so it qualifies for funding under the program that we're running. And have asked that the East of Hudson bid this out. We also have a matching DEC grant, which will cover a portion of the project. So that being said, I'd like to introduce this resolution approving Legacy Supply LLC for the construction of the project at Veterans Memorial Park in the amount of $299,000, and ask that it be entered into the resolution, into the minutes as read.
Second, and I have ask a question. Do you recall how much money we're getting between the state and meeting DEC, I guess, for East of Hudson family? If not,
I thought it was 100 and...
I know we approved something.
You know what, I'm not even gonna do that, because
Don't.
we did last, we approved it all last meeting.
Some of it last meeting, some before that too, I think. I was just curious.
Well, we did the grant a long time ago.
Yeah, okay, but we are getting money.
We are getting money.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ted Kozlowski is the Patterson Environmental Conservation Inspector. He's been with us many, many years. He is also involved in Westchester County Parks, where he's an employee. He is retiring from Westchester County Parks. And in order for him to collect his retirement from Westchester County, he needs to also separate from service from the town of Patterson, even if it's only for one day. So he has submitted his letter of resignation to the town of Patterson. So without objection, I'd like to accept the letter of resignation from Ted Kozlowski, ECI, effective August 31st, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, as strange as this may sound, I would like to appoint Ted Kozlowski, ECI, to the position of Environmental Conservation Inspector, effective September 2nd, 2019.
Second for discussion.
Go ahead.
What are his credentials? Do we know this guy? Maybe we should interview him.
Listen, it's hard for me to do this as is.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. In my executive session, I will defer to the end of the meeting. Mary?
Okay, so I have recreation requests on my agenda this evening. Mr. Matt Chavarro would like to offer the summer robotics and coding camp. It was very successful in the summer, so he'd like to run it once again in the fall. He's planning on having 8 weekly meetings at the rec center. For children in grades 1 through 3, they will learn the fundamentals of coding to build and program robots. And children in grade 3 through 5 will learn the skills and the basic use of programming tools to prototype their own robotic creations and test their coding skills. The registration fee will be $170 per student. And there will not be any discounts offered for this program since they're paying the vendor directly. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the registration fee of $170 per student for the fall robotics and coding camp. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Secondly, we have some jerseys that Matt would like to purchase. He's looking to purchase 39 soccer jerseys with the custom print on the front. This is a price that he received for the spring soccer sports, so we can they're holding the bid price quote for $411.50 from, let me just see who this is getting this. Looks like Select Sportswear was the lowest bidder. So we'll be purchasing them again for the fall program soccer. So I'd like to make a motion to approve 39 jerseys purchased from Select Sportswear in the amount of $411.50. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Matt also received some, one price quote. The other vendor didn't have the jerseys he was looking for. So I'd like to make a motion to approve 100 moisture wicking custom reversible flag football jerseys in the amount of $1,437. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did I say that was from YBA Shirts? Sports? I did? Yes. Okay. Just to let you know. Okay, that's it from the rec center. But we have something hot off the press here from the tax receiver. It's a press release, new September 2019. The town of Patterson and the receiver of taxes, Mary Delanoy, is proud to announce the acceptance of online electronic payments for the payment of Brewster Central School District and Carmel Central School District taxes for residents of the town of Patterson, effective September 3rd, 2019. Found through the link on the Town of Patterson website, www.pattersonny.org, Receiver of Taxes page. Taxpayers will have the ability to pay their taxes with any major credit card, Visa, only debit card, or e-check. So just to clarify, any major credit card, Visa only for debit? Okay, just want to make sure I said that right. And, or you could use e-check. So there will be an upfront convenience fee associated with the electronic payments. So please review the fee schedule on the webpage. You may also view and print your current tax bill. For payment history, tax receipts, or further information, please contact Mary Delanoy directly, the receiver of taxes, via email at receiver@Patterson. Is that receiver dot? No. receiver@pattersonny.org, or by telephone at 845-878-9300, extension 18. So thank you, Mary, for doing that for us. It's very exciting.
Mrs. Delanoy has been spearheading a number of significant software upgrades over the past year, which is going to really streamline her office, and has done a phenomenal job doing it, and I applaud you for doing it all, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I think this is excellent for people who can't get down here during the day, during the week, to do it conveniently online, and if they have reward points on their credit cards, they can even
Right.
Oh, yeah.
rack up a lot of points that way. I
But
think
they'll
it's a
still
great-
come in
great
and
thing.
visit you. Yeah.
For the job, for the smile.
Okay, other business, anyone?
I have a couple of things I just wanted to ask. Have you heard anything back from Southeast on Fields Corner? Your letter down there about
I have not.
traffic? That's interesting.
It's posted, it's part of the record, I know that,
Right. Okay. I'm
but
just
I haven't
curious.
seen where it's moved forward yet.
Okay. And the other thing is, any conversations with Welsh?
Yes,
Sanitation?
I got the agreement extended not to June, but to September,
Uh,
at the rate we discussed. I believe
Okay.
$98 a ton.
Great,
Good job.
excellent. Want these then?
Yes, I do.
We have a request from the Patterson Fire Department number 1 to include to add the following members to the Fire Department insurance program effective immediately. Matthew Rosaforte, Justin Febo, Matthew Castellano, Anthony Febo, Freddie Beltran, and Jean Boo. So let's please add those 6 new and exciting members immediately. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's great to get these memos adding people now. For a
Yeah.
long time, seemed like we were just.
We met with
deleting
them earlier, and they said they have a few more coming.
people. Great.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot of
amazing.
energy in the Patterson Fire Department
Good.
lately. Yeah.
Excellent.
This is great. And we have, do you want to talk about the library? Lorraine is here. Lorraine, do you want to come up?
Well, I want to get to Lorraine in a minute, but
Okay.
before we do that, I received in today, as part of our negotiations with CSEA for the union contract and the collective bargaining agreement, we are obligated to provide dental and vision to the CSEA employees. They were gracious enough to allow us to extend it also to the non-union employees. But we need to enter into an agreement with the CSEA Employee Benefit Fund and the town of Patterson. So we received the agreement in today, which they've asked me to sign and send back to them. And I'd like the town board to authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement between CSEA Employment Benefit Fund and the town of Patterson to provide the Sunrise Dental Plan and the Gold 12 Vision Plan with high index lenses, anti-reflective coating, and polarized lens riders. to the CSEA employees and CSEA
None.
and town non-CSEA employees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public recognition.
There you go.
Any member of the public want to
Okay.
address the board?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lorraine Major, and I live at 166 Somerset Drive in Patterson. That address may sound vaguely familiar to you.
We've heard it a time or two.
Before I start, I would just like to share this poster for the Patterson Rotary. They're having a beautiful blues and barbecue coming up the 13th and the 14th. Lots of really good food, lots of really good music, lots of really good people wanting everybody to have a good time. So you should look into that. Can you see that? Oops. Okay. Good, thank you. And I sent to you this morning a letter of explanation and a short video. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, and a photograph. And I'm representing the Rotary, and we would like to install what they call little free libraries. And we'd like to do 2 of them in Patterson. And I sent a picture of the one in front of the recreation center, which looks perfect because it wouldn't obstruct anybody's entrance, but all those children that go through there, plus the children in the neighborhood, would have access to this little structure that holds books. And they're free. The children can just go up, they can help themselves to a book, they could sit on that bench that's there, look through them, they can take them home, they can keep them, they can return them. They're welcome to bring a book and leave it. It's take a book, leave a book. And the other place was up by Put Lake, the little park.
Club Court.
Club Court, thank you. Again, it's access, neighborhood children can walk there, and we have a beautiful library here. But some little children are maybe a little bit intimidated to get there, or families have a little trouble getting there. And this is a great introduction to help them want more. So after they read this book and hopefully develop an appreciation of having the books, they may want to go to the big library. It's no cost to the town. The Rotary will take care of that. And we have at least 40 members in the Rotary who will make sure that the little house has upkeep and never looks like shabby or anything. And it's just a very easy way for people to go up to meet people in the community, neighbors. It gives them a sense of responsibility because they can borrow the book, and if they're enjoying it, they've been hopefully taught to bring another book back. And there was a lot of information in the letter and the video. That TED Talk was, I thought, very succinct, and she did a beautiful job explaining it, so I don't think I need to do that if you had a chance to look at it. So I'm here to just ask permission to put these 2 little buildings up. Little ones, not, they're not huge. You have pictures there.
The little buildings go on top of a pole, which is going to be cemented into the ground.
Right, well, we'll put the cement in a bucket and then put the bucket into the ground, so if there's any problem, we can easily take it out.
I took a look at the photo.
Uh-huh.
I did not see the video. Is there any sort of signage that goes along with this?
Yes, you have to, you actually have to get a sign that the Little Free Library organization gives. It was started by a man who just wanted to do something good for the community, and it has just caught on. I think there's there are a number in every state. There's, I think that we're up to 50,000 of these little libraries in the United States and another 20,000 in other countries. So it's really caught on. And the sign says Little Free Library, and it might say take a book, leave a book.
Yeah.
And I think it would be nice if we could get a little sign underneath it to just say the Patterson Rotary maybe.
That'd be great.
Okay.
I've seen a few of them around the country in different places.
Yes, there's one right here on Maple Road.
Yeah.
A private family has it on there. the front of their yard, which is great. What's nice about these two spots, there's ample parking, they won't interfere, people in the town can walk.
You know, one of my mom's greatest pleasures in life was reading. She would spend countless hours at the library in Mahopac, and even she said as a small child she'd rather sit on the stoop in the city and read a book rather than play ball on the street. And she instilled that in us when we were very young. She would, I mean, I remember her bringing us to the library probably monthly and getting a big bag of books, and so a project like this, I can't compliment you enough on. I think it's fantastic.
Well, the children, sometimes you can go to a big library and be a little intimidated.
Yeah.
And not to know, well, I don't know exactly what I have to do. This kind of lets them go up. All they have to do is open the door and
Yeah.
take the book out.
And it's so different now with the computers. We used to sit and go through the card catalogs to find the
Yes.
books and all that. And I know, but now we're dating all of us. But I think it's a fantastic thing. I've seen on the places where I've seen them around, literally around the country, and different. You go on vacation, you see the little
Yes.
library book, and you see children
And
using
there's a
it.
map that will actually be
Yeah.
put on.
That's
So
great.
that anybody who wants to check out Patterson to see if there's these little libraries will find them. And I think there's 2 in Southeast.
Yeah, very good. I'm fully
So I
supportive.
don't have a problem with the concept
Okay.
overall. But I do think there needs to be some sort of just very simple written agreement between the town and the Rotary that the Rotary is going to maintain this. And if not, then what are we going to do? We have a similar situation I could talk about later to you privately where things were not followed through. The other issue is I contacted Matt Jabaro down at the rec center today who didn't know anything about it.
No, we haven't. We thought we had to start here.
Yeah, well, it would have been nice if you had gone down and seen Matt, so he'd
Well,
gotten a
my
heads up.
intention is to go there, but I was
That's fine.
advised to come here first.
Okay, well, stop listening to your husband.
No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him.
All right, so I did send everything down
Oh, good, and
to
I'm
Matt.
gonna see him.
So if you want to stop down and, see
Yes.
Matt and talk to him a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
And I don't see any problem with moving this forward and wrapping it up at the next meeting.
Sounds great.
Okay, that would be awesome.
In between that time, I think you should also stop into the library and talk to the head librarian, just so
Okay,
she knows.
sure, I'd be happy to.
Maybe there could be some kind of collaboration with them.
Okay,
If I think it's a good gateway for children to start there and work their way. But it would be
Yeah.
great if you can kind of connect somehow and collaborate. It'd be great.
Thank
thank
you.
you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
And on that notice about the blues and bugles,
Yes.
if you want to leave that with Antoinette, we could put it on the counter downstairs.
Oh, I only have one, but that would be
Well, we'll
great.
tape it then, so that nobody takes it.
Thank you.
Shane, no.
We can make copies and
Yeah.
you can come in and get a copy.
Does anybody else wish to address any issue with the board tonight? Going once. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive.
Excuse me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just one announcement. The Brewster Elks are having a Patriot Day Memorial Service, September 11th, 2019, at the Brewster Elks Lodge on Route 22 in Brewster. The memorial service will start promptly at 6 p.m. It says here, bring your family, friends, neighbors to witness this most humble ceremony. Refreshments will be served following the service, rain or shine. So, Brewster Elks, Route 22 in Brewster, September 11th, Patriot Day Memorial Service, September 11th, 2019.
And I'd like to say something also.
Sure.
It's that wonderful time of year again. Next week's is the opening of the schools, and the buses are going to be on the road. And we had the traffic safety board's been going around and talking to all the school districts and the drivers and trying to educate, make everyone aware about the red lights on the school bus. And we all obviously know that red means to stop, but we've had some incidents in the past where these motorists have been passing the cars. So just to make everyone aware that if you see anyone violating red lights, and if you happen to get the number, reach out to the safety board or the local police, and they'll inform us, and we're setting up some maybe hot spots where the sheriffs and the state troopers will be going out and waiting to ticket these offenders. And also just a reminder that school buses run on a schedule, so if you get stuck behind one and you might feel the urge to pass one, just leave a minute earlier or 10 minutes later and you won't be stuck behind that bus. So, thank you. And be
you.
safe.
Motion to go to executive session?
Second?
How come it works for you?
Timing is everything.
I guess. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.